Namaste dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Master Physics Academy. By learning physics here, you will definitely master physics. This is the second part of the series Video Solutions to Comet K 2020 which was held on 19/8/2020. Here I am going to discuss the question in greater detail so that it is going to help you in the upcoming exams like NEET and JEE. Please go through the video seriously and thoroughly so that you will get the clarity about the concepts. Let's begin with question number 11. The question is, for the combination of two NAND gates and a NOR gate as shown in the figure, 4 input-output conditions are given below. One of them which is not correct is. First of all, I am really disappointed with the diagram given. They could have used a good drawing tool to write the diagram. NAND gate does not look like a NAND gate here. Whatever, we cannot claim grace mark for the same. So let's look at the options and see which option is wrong. So I will just mark the output of NAND gate as P and its expression is given by A into B whole bar. And I'm going to mark the output of NOR gate as Q whose expression is given by A plus B whole bar. And the output of the final NAND gate is Y and it is going to be P into Q whole bar. So let us make a truth table to understand how this circuit works. So we have AB, then the output of NAND gate is P, the output of NOR gate is Q. These are going to play like inputs for the final NAND gate, which is going to be producing output Y with the expression P into Q whole bar, right? So first input is 0 and 1, A is 0, B is 1, P is going to be A into B whole bar, Q is going to be A plus B whole bar, right? So what is A into B whole bar? 0 into 1 is 0, 0 bar is 1 and 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 bar is 0. Now the second input is 0, 0. So the output P will be 0 into 0, that is 0, its inverse is 1, 0 plus 0 is 0, its inverse is 1 again. Now the third input is 1 and 1, 1 into 1 is 1, its inverse is going to be 0, 1 plus 1 is 1, its inverse is going to be 0. Now the final case, that is A equals 1, B equals 0, 1 into 0 is 0, its inverse is going to be 1, 1 plus 0 is 1, its inverse is going to be 0. Let us analyze the final output, so which is P into Q whole bar. So it is 1 into 0, 0, its inverse is 1, 1 into 1 is 0, 1 into 1 is 1, its inverse is 0, 0 into 0 is 0, its inverse is 1, 1 into 0 is 0, 0 inverse is 1. So this is the final output. So for the first case A0 B1, the output is 1, so this option is wrong. For the second case A0 B0, the output is 0, so this option is correct. For the third case, that is A0 B1, A1 B1, the output is 1, this is also correct. This is also correct. Then the final case, that is A1 B0, A1 B0, we are having output 1, which is wrong. So they are asking which of the option is not correct. So here we are getting two options which are not correct. So the correct options are 1 and 4. 1 and 4 are the correct options. So I think they are going to give the grace mark for the same because two options are correct here. But they have given option 2 as the answer in the key answers provided in the official website. Let us look at question number 12. The dimensional formula for magnetic flux is A. So first of all, we need to write some formula which is going to involve the magnetic flux. Basic definition of magnetic flux says it is given by dot product of magnetic field and area vector, expanding which we'll be getting BA cos theta. I'm going to ignore cos theta because it is dimensionless. And we don't know the direct dimensions of magnetic field or the units of magnetic field in basic physical units. So therefore, I'm going to use one more formula which involves magnetic field. Say for example, the force experienced by current carrying conductor kept in uniform magnetic field, which is given by F equals ILB. Again, I'm going to ignore sin theta, which is dimensionless. So I'm going to rewrite the formula for magnetic field, which is going to be F divided by IL. So F, IL, they are very fundamental physical, what I can say, they are the physical quantities which we come across many times, very often. Hence, we'll be knowing their units in terms of basic physical units. I'll just substitute the B by F divided by IL. So don't think this is new formula for flux. Here, I just wanted to know their units. That's why I'm doing this kind of things, which should not be done for numerical exercises. So F is having unit Newton, which is kg meter per second square, and area, A is area, which is having unit meter square, current is having unit ampere, length is having unit meter. So now simplifying this, we'll be getting kg power 1, that means mass dimension is 1 here, length dimension, that is meter squared, it is going to be 2 here, time dimension is minus 2, and current dimension is minus 1, which is clearly depicted in option 2. Hence option 2 is correct choice. Next question, question number 13. Consider the situation where force F and displacement S are not equal to 0, but work done is 0. The conclusion is, what is the formula for work done? It is going to be dot product of force and displacement, right? So upon expansion, we'll be getting Fs cos theta. It is clearly given that W, that is work done, is going to be 0, but F and S are not 0. Therefore, cos theta should be equal to 0, which will imply that theta is going to be 90 degree. That means angle between force vector and displacement vector is 90 degree, which is given in option 3 as F and S are right angles to each other. So option 3 is the right choice. Let us go to the next question. PAS is the SI unit of, PAS is a Pascal second. Pascal second. That is the SI unit of coefficient of viscosity, that is for sure. I can just give you how we need to check this. So what is the coefficient of viscosity? See, the force experienced by different layers of a fluid is directly proportional to area of contact, and it is directly proportional to velocity gradient. The constant of proportionality, what we are going to use, is called as coefficient of viscosity, right? So now the coefficient of viscosity is given by F by A divided by dV by dx, right? dV by dx. What is the unit of F by A? That is force per unit area. This is going to be Pascal, right? So divided by, what is the unit of velocity? That is velocity gradient. dV means velocity, that is meter per second. And what is the unit of dx? That is length, meter. So solving this, will be having second inverse in the denominator. So when it is taken to the numerator, we will be having Pascal second. So the correct option is coefficient of viscosity, which is also clearly marked in the official website. Let us come to question number 15. The existence of electromagnetic waves was confirmed experimentally by the scientist Maxwell. Be careful, it's not Maxwell here, Maxwell, Jagadish Chandra Bose, Hertz and Marconi. So correct option is option 3, Hertz. Next question. Here they have given, if momentum P, area A and time t are taken as fundamental quantities, then energy as the dimensional formula. So now we need to consider this dimensional formula, in which I can say the energy E is given by momentum to the power A, area to the power B, and time to the power C. So let us go with the basic physical quantities or the dimensions here. So I will just take the basic physical quantity, which is easy to memorize and recall. So energy means kg meter squared per second squared. So momentum is mass into velocity, which is kg meter per second. So to the power a means kg power a, meter power a, second to the power minus a. Area means meter squared, right? Area means meter squared. To the power b means meter to the power 2b. T is time, okay? Time to the power c is there, that means second to the power c. Now let us compare the powers on either side. So we'll be easily getting the a value here, because kg is only present one time in the RHS. So if you do that, a will be equated to 1. So that is the answer for a. Then I'll just do the same for powers of m. On LHS it is 2, on RHS it is a plus 2b, right? A plus 2b, right? But we got the value of a, which is equal to 1. So substituting a equals 1, we will be getting 2b is equal to 1, or b is equal to 1 by 2. So we got the answer for B2, that is half. Then let's go to powers of second, which is minus 2 in the LHS, and which is going to be minus a plus c in the RHS. So a is 1, so minus 1 here. So c is going to be minus 1. Upon simplification, we'll be getting c value as minus 1. So what the formula we are having for energy is P power A, that is P power 1, A power B, that is A power half, and T power C, that is T power minus 1. So this is the answer we should look for, which is clearly given in option 3, and website is also going to mark the same option. Let us look at the next question. Here it is given that when a mass is rotating in a horizontal plane about a fixed point, its angular momentum is directed along. It's a repeated question. I don't know why this kind of thing will happen in a national level exam. So this question has been discussed in part 1. The correct option is option 4, the axis of rotation. But this is a repeated question. Let's move on to next question. Question number 18. The mass of the circular path, the radius of the circular path described by a charged particle Q of mass m moving with velocity v perpendicular to a magnetic field B is given by the expression. So it's a direct formula, R equals mv divided by qb. More the mass, more will be the radius, more the velocity, more will be the radius. More is the charge, less will be the radius. More is the magnetic field, less will be the radius. So this is clearly depicted in option 1. Now let us move on to question number 19. A copper slab of thickness T is inserted between the plates of a parallel plate capacitor as shown in the figure. The separation of the plate is D. If T is equal to D by 4, then the ratio of capacities of capacitor before and after inserting the slab is. Before the insertion, the capacitance of this capacitor will be equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. That is the expression we all know. After inserting the copper metal slab, the formula changes to epsilon naught A divided by D minus T. But T is given as D by 4, so I am going to substitute that epsilon naught A divided by D minus D by 4. So upon simplification, we'll be getting 4 epsilon naught A divided by 3D. So they are asking the ratio here. So they are asking the ratio, that is what ratio they are asking? Before and after, right? So before and after means C is to C dash. So C is to C dash will be equal to 1 is to 4 by 3. 1 is to 4 by 3. Upon simplification, we will be getting answer as 3 is to 4. So the correct option is option 1. The next question, that is last question in this part, question number 20. It is given that two springs have force constants in the ratio 16 is to 9. Their time periods are in the ratio. The time period of a mass spring system is given by 2 pi root of m by k. That means time period is inversely proportional to square of the force constant or the spring constant. So we need to take the ratio here. So T1 by T2 will be equal to root of K2 divided by K1, since that is inversely proportional to square of the spring constant. So let us substitute. The second spring is having spring constant 9. The first spring is having spring constant 16. So 9 by 16 whole to the power 1 by 2. So it is going to be 3 by 4, which is given in option 1. So that's the end of the part 2. I will be coming back with the part 3 very soon. Stay tuned, subscribe our channel to get the notifications. Thank you one and all. Dear students, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe our YouTube channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that you'll get the notification whenever I upload new videos. There are plenty of videos in our channel. Please watch them and prepare well for upcoming exams. Thank you one and all. Once again, all the very best for your upcoming exams. Make physics your favorite subject. Happy learning. ಒಳಿತಾಗಲಿ, ಶುಭವಾಗಲಿ.